San Diego here. Want to invite you to go check out Publis. Publis is a dog clothing and accessory company based in Austria. 10% of each of your purchases goes to helping dogs in need, whether it's homeless, sick, or ill dogs. This is one of the reasons why we support it. Kiska here is a rescue dog from rural Alaska and our grid office dog. We care about our furry buddies, and we know you do as well. Definitely check out pawbliss.com. There's a link on the video description, and by clicking on that link, you get a 10% discount on your purchase as well. Extreme E had their debut weekend. We'll describe all the things that went down, including some adjustments for next time. And May 5th, circle that day for NASCAR Cup Series fans. The new car comes out. All that right here on Grid Tonight. Hello everyone, welcome to Grid Tonight, your weekly motorsports news program. Joe San Diego here, along with Kobe Lambeth from the Podium Finish. Let's start with some news regarding the debut weekend of Extreme E.
This past weekend's Extreme E inaugural race, the Desert X Prix, took place in Saudi Arabia. The event saw the battle between Sir Lewis Hamilton's team against Nico Rosberg's team. Nico's team took the win with X44 third and Andretti Autosport second. Three teams left with torn up vehicles, unfortunately. A potential glitch with power steering. Overall, it was a solid first weekend for Extreme E. Joe, considering the remote location and the fact that we're still living in a global pandemic, how successful was the inaugural weekend?
Overall, I would say very successful. If I had to give them a grade, I would definitely say an A. Yes, we know we're going to talk a little bit about some of the glitches here and there and some of the difficulties, but considering the remote nature of the location of this race, all the teams were there. They all had their vehicles running. Everything was going pretty smoothly. And then, of course, we had the racing. It could have been so easily this event postponed, canceled due to the pandemic. The safeguards they put in place really worked out. Yes, it would have been nice to have some media members there, maybe some crowd. But overall, I have to say, good job, because the first weekend, just like any motorsport series, program, organization, that very first week for a brand new program, it's always most difficult, and I think they did a solid job.
Yes, you're absolutely right there. When a brand new racing series starts up, you cannot expect it to go well 100% right from the start. And I expect the same thing when we get to Tony Stewart and Ray Everham's summer series with SRX. I know they're gonna be racing on dirt, on asphalt. That's gonna be crazy when we get to the summertime, get to watch that. But going back to Extreme E, I think they definitely deserve an A for being able to have minimum issues. And one of the major setbacks that was discussed was dust caused by the racing. And I know it sounds very familiar to NASCAR fans who watched the Bristol Dirt race weekend before we had Easter break. The lead driver enjoyed a huge advantage as others tried to navigate the dust cloud, kind of like what we saw at Bristol Dirt. Dust even caused one accident during the shootout race, which wasn't televised. Alejandro Agag, the founder of Extreme E, has said they will look into time trial races in the future. Do you believe this is a bit of an overreaction to the dust and lack of visibility, and do we just need more time for everything to develop?
As you just said, I think we need more time to develop. Yes, it's very easy. If we were looking at the practice sessions and everything, dust was going to be an issue. One of the big things we did saw was how, as they increased the speed from qualifying to the racing, the dust got worse and worse. Going forward, we'll definitely have a better idea when it comes to controlling the dust over there as well. And we encourage everyone in the chat room, including Adam, who we see in the chat room, he liked the Extreme E weekend as well. Definitely encourage everyone to share their opinions. Overall, when it comes to the dust situation, I believe, let's see how everything goes. We got a couple more races where dust will not be an issue. Once we're in the glacier, we don't have to worry about dust. Unless maybe we have some of that powderish snow, but it's not going to be as severe as the dust. And then, of course, next year, by the time we go here, maybe we can have alternate routes. So that way it's different routes each lap. So that way we don't have the dust situation. And we could still hopefully have wheel to wheel racing as they have intended.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm sure Extreme E is going to learn more and more the more races they get under their belts in order to make this series better for future events. And the next race is not until Memorial Day weekend, so it definitely so it's definitely it's going to be a long wait until the next Extreme E event. And Joe, reflecting on the debut weekend of Extreme E as a whole, what were some of the key takeaways from last weekend?
Some of the key takeaways I saw is definitely when it comes to the teams. We see how Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton's team, they seem to be really the favorites week in and week out. The Science family and their racing team, the number 55, as seen here, they look really fast as well. Qualifying, I almost feel it's a bit of a disadvantage if you're in third place because you're going to be with the two fastest, and only the top two will advance. That crazy race, this may sound a little bit crazy. We saw Andretti Autosport, they got into the finals through that crazy race. They seem to be quite a ways ahead of everybody else. So if you're in fourth place, I feel you got a better chance of getting to that final race, especially if your other two are still struggling. Of course, the shootout race, we did see only two drivers, excuse me, two teams race. Unfortunately, due to the deaths, we had a crash. But overall, I feel it was a pretty successful race weekend. When it comes to the next race, I think a big question is going to be where is Rosberg's team, Hamilton's team? Are they still going to be the top two to watch? And Ready Autosport, will they continue to improve? And of course, Ganassi Racing, they had a tough weekend with like two crashes essentially, and some of that power steering issue that's plagued a lot of other teams. Those are some of the things I'll be looking forward to the next race weekend for Extreme E.
Yes, it's going to be very exciting to watch Extreme E develop over the next several months. Two drivers have announced rides for the 2021 Indy 500. First, Juan Pablo Montoya, the two-time Indy 500 winner, will team up with Aaron McLaren SP, driving the number 86 Chevrolet. He'll be carrying colors honoring Peter Revson's pole with McLaren in 1971, and the car really looks like an orange creamsicle, which is really cool. And this will be Montoya's first Indy 500 and first IndyCar start since 2017, so it's been a few years. Montoya won the 2000 Indy 500 as a rookie, and again in 2015 with Team Penske. Santino Ferrucci, the 2019 Rookie of the Year at the Indy 500, will return. He'll pilot the third Rahal Letterman Lanigan entry, the number 45 Honda. Ferrucci will attempt to make his third consecutive start in the greatest spectacle in racing. He's earned a pair of top 10 finishes so far, 7th in 2019 and 4th in 2020. Rahal Letterman Lanigan won the Indy 500 last year with Takuma Sato, two drivers and teams capable of winning the race, which is scheduled for May 30th, 2021.
Very excited about Indy 500 coming around. And of course, this year in May, we got big news today that on May 5th, the next gen car is going to be revealed on Twitter today. NASCAR indicates that May 5th, all the manufacturers, Chevrolet, Ford, and Toyota, will be revealing the model being run in the next gen car. Most people are anticipating the Chevrolet Camaro and the Ford Mustang will be continuing on. Kobe, what are some of the possible options we might be seeing from Toyota in the future?
Obviously, Toyota could stick with the Camry, but I think Toyota could also look at switching to the Toyota Super as well. They introduced the Toyota Super in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I think the car looks really cool, and on it, and with the next gen bodywork, as I say, it's the rebirth of stock in stock cars. I think a Toyota Supra, with the bodywork on the next gen chassis, I think that will look really sweet.
I would have to agree. I think the Supra will be really fun. And of course, since these vehicles are going to be using more essentially downforce from the ground effect downforce, the body of the car won't be too big of a factor compared to the current cars where aerodynamics from the car shape is a huge factor. Now, along with the new models being revealed, they're going to reveal some of the specs and body as well. One of the most talked about things from race fans, of course, is the number location. That seems to be a huge debate. Where does the number belong? However, there are other changes that are being overlooked, and one of the big ones has to be the chassis development. Spec chassis from either Dallara or Technique will be provided to all the teams. So you don't have the teams all creating their own chassis or buying chassis from another supplier. Are you surprised that chassis haven't been talked about this much, considering what it does for all the teams essentially having an equal chassis?
To be honest, Joe, I haven't really thought about the chassis at all, and And with the teams, not having to spend excess money, I think this will be a great cost saving measure for the sport. And at the end of the day, we're still going to see the same teams who are currently the front runners right now in the Cup Series still up front, and the teams that are currently running at the back right now, they're probably still going to be back there. But hopefully, with the next gen car, we'll see a very competitive environment. And in the final year of the Gen 6 car so far, with everything we've seen, all the different winners, I definitely think the Gen 6 is going out with a bang. And with all the excitement about the next gen car coming next year, I think this is a win-win situation for NASCAR.
A win-win situation. And of course, some of the other notable changes include a single lug nut, so we're not going to have to worry about a loose lug nut situation. Sequential gear shifting and independent rear steering. I mean, excuse me, rear suspension. That's going to be really huge, especially when it comes to the road courses as well. We've seen this year NASCAR introduce a lot more road courses, and there's anticipated change in the refueling system, clamp down system, something similar to other series like IMSA. These changes, plus of course the safety advancements, bring NASCAR's new car more closely to other racing series cars when it comes to some of the technologies that we see across different platforms. Besides the fans, drivers, team, and industry members, especially within NASCAR, do you believe racers outside NASCAR traditional scope are thinking about maybe going into NASCAR in their future plans?
Well, maybe we'll see more drivers try to come over and run the road courses. Maybe not necessarily switching to NASCAR as a whole, but I'm sure that's something NASCAR would hope. I know in the past we saw a lot of road course ringers come in, and over the years, as the NASCAR drivers have put a lot more effort into getting better at road course racing, those road course ringers have either disappeared or there's like so few of them left. I think with this technology, which is more close to the technology that they're used to in road course racing. I think this could certainly increase the demand for drivers outside of NASCAR. Be like, I want to come and run Code. I want to run Road America or the Roval, Sonoma, Watkins Glen, Indy Road Course, however many road courses we have on this schedule. So I definitely think that this is very very appealing, that the car is with all the technology is going to be more suited to road courses. And one of the interesting things about NASCAR, about the stock car and road courses, you know, in this current time and throughout history, is that the car is suited for ovals, and the cars don't really drive that well on road courses. But that should change when NASCAR switches to the next gen car in 2022.
2022 is going to be a very exciting change as well. And I see Adam saying about the single lug nut on the wheel, very similar to the supercars, as we mentioned. So definitely going to make it a lot of fun next year. And of course, throughout this year, we'll be covering all NASCAR races, events, and of course, any development with the next gen car. And of course, when that next gen car is revealed on May 5th, we'll definitely have coverage of that. Now, one of the big things, speaking about coverage, when it comes to the IndyCar series, they have renewed several relationships with international broadcasters in multiple countries. Of course, a lot of the existing partners will return, and there will be some new ones that will be announced on a later date. Plus, an increase in coverage, especially in Australia and New Zealand. Of course, Australia and New Zealand, home country of Will Power, Scott Dixon, and Supercar two-time champion and rookie Scott McLaughlin, of course, is switching over to the IndyCar series this year. Definitely going to be drawing in some more viewers as well. IndyCar races can be viewed in over a dozen countries, including Japan, the Netherlands, Pan Latin America, South Africa, the Sub-Saharan Africa, and Vietnam, just to name a few. So it's definitely going to be a very exciting time for IndyCar. And of course, as I mentioned, with supercars, Scott McLaughlin, he has been the champion there lately, but right now, the points leader is also leading the Grid World Motorsport League standard. Shane Van Gisbergen continues to lead. Of course, not a whole lot of changes. In fact, the top 10 remains the same after the Bahrain Grand Prix race weekend. For Shane Van Gisbergen, he has another 2 weeks before his next race. This upcoming week, we have Formula E. They have two races in the Rome E-Prix, and of course, NASCAR Saturday night at Martinsville Speedway. Those races will count towards the Greater World Motorsport League. And of course, once Formula E completes both races, those drivers will be eligible for scoring. So it's going to be really interesting to see if we have some Formula E drivers in the Greater World Motorsport League. And we encourage everyone to visit grid underscore WML on Twitter, and you can find him at our gridranking.com address. One of the big things with the Grid World Motorsport League and the Grid Ranking, not very often we had the same driver leading both ranking systems. This is only the second time it's happened, and Kobe is going to tell us more about the Grid Ranking so far this year.
Yeah, the grid ranking was released on Sunday, and in the past 4 seasons, only two different drivers have led week one of the ranking. Sebastian Bourdais in 2017-2018, Scott McLaughlin in 2019-2020. The fifth annual grid ranking has its third different leader, and that driver is Shane Van Gisbergen from the Repco Supercar Series. First 5 races, 5 wins, and if you count last season, 6 in a row. Joe, the grid ranking favors dominating performances and consistency. What are some of Shane's weaknesses in the schedule, if any? Well, apparently we lost Joe for a second, and continuing on with Shane Van Gisbergen leading, he becomes the third racer from New Zealand to lead the great ranking, joining Scott McLaughlin and Scott Dixon, who led last year, tied New Zealand with the United States for most drivers from one country to lead. The U.S. had Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and the 2017 Great Ranking World Champion Martin Truex Jr. lead. The leader of Week One has never won the grid ranking. The best finished second in 2019 and 2020. For the first time, one series has 5 drivers in the top 10, which is WRC. Joe, is this a flaw in the grid ranking or just some of the effects of the global pandemic?
Definitely some of the effects of the global pandemic. Essentially, with the pandemic, one of the big things, Formula One, IndyCar, they have not gone up and running yet. MotoGP, traditionally, they'll have a couple more race weekends done as well. This year, of course, World Rally Championship, they only had a couple of events, so you got all their drivers up in the top 10. This has never happened before. NASCAR, of course, they've done a lot more races. The inconsistency is much more apparent, so you see their scores a little lower. That's why we only have Denny Hamlin in the top 10. Once all the racing series are going and they start completing more and more races, that's when you'll see the numbers really start to truly reflect where everyone stands. So I know some folks are probably thinking, well, World Rally Championship, man, all those drivers are looking really great. Well, they only done a couple of races. Let's see at the end of this year for them how they all rank up.
Yeah, definitely. I'll wait to the end. And going back to Shane Van Gisbergen, I was saying that the first 5 races, 5 wins, and if you count last season, 6 in a row. Shane Van Gisbergen is on the roll, and the grid ranking favors dominating performances and consistency. What are some of Shane Van Gisbergen's weaknesses in the schedule, if he has any?
I don't see any potential weakness so far. He seems to be really good week in and week out. Of course, definitely our supercar expert, Adam, if he was here, he could definitely be telling us about it. And of course, we're going to have Adam on Saturday's program discuss a little bit about this and NASCAR. But overall, Shane, I think he's clearly a favorite for the championship. I don't see why he can't go out there and be just as dominant as Scott McLaughlin has been. And he could possibly be the first supercar series driver to win the grid ranking world championship.
Yes, it doesn't seem like anything is stopping Shane Van Gisbergen right now. Not even broken ribs or a broken collarbone. If injuries cannot stop Shane Van Gisbergen, the only thing that really can stop him is going to be like a mechanical failure or getting involved in an accident on track. Because right now that guy is on an absolute roll. And this upcoming weekend we have Formula E and the NASCAR Cup Series. Both series have one racer in the top 10. Formula E has Nick DeFries in sixth, and we're going to have a Rome E Prix doubleheader. What are the chances of Nick DeFries winning in between 0%, no option, or 100%, meaning he's guaranteed to win?
I have to say, when it comes to Nick DeFries, I'm going to give him 75% chance of winning a race during the race weekend. Yeah, it's a 2 races, and traditionally Formula E has been very unpredictable. We've had as many as 8, 9 different winners in one year. Nick, he looked really good in that first round Saudi Arabia. That first race, he just dominated. The second race, of course, he's in Group 1 qualifying, came further towards the back, especially since they didn't even get to qualify after the Mercedes powertrain investigation. He still scored points. I see him even if he's in Group 1, he's going to be at least mid-pack, get some points. That second race, I think he's going to go out there, really put in a good performance. So I give him a good, solid 75% chance of winning. Now, when it comes to NASCAR, Kobe, we see Denny Hamlin in the top 10 using that same scale, 0, no chance to 100% he has it in the bag. Where do you see Denny Hamlin's chances of winning?
Well, Joe, on the same scale, I'm thinking Denny Hamlin's going to be like a 50% chance of winning. I know that's going to shock a lot of people, but this season is just so competitive so far, and I expect the same thing is going to happen at Martinsville. Are we going to see another different winner? That's my question to the viewers at home. Yeah, and be sure to tune in to Grid Live pre-race as we preview Formula E in Rome and the NASCAR Cup Series at Martinsville Speedway at noon Eastern right here on YouTube.
Yeah, right here on YouTube. Very exciting. And of course, Saturday is going to be a lot of fun. Sunday, Grid Live wrap up, all sorts. And we encourage everyone to subscribe to the Grid Network right here. Now, we are approaching 1 year on the air for the Grid Network. April 8th was the first Grid Tonight. May 20th was our first live streaming program, just like tonight. 2020, we evolved from just a home of the Grid Ranking and World Motorsport League to the Grid Network, where we provide programs such as Grid Tonight, the Women Racing to Win, and of course, our pre-race and wrap-up program. We are grateful for our loyal viewers, subscribers, and of course, calling our Patreon supporters. We encourage everyone to join Patreon, help keep us on the air. Now, we are entering our second year and we're again evolving. This past week, I finalized a deal where I'll have a full-time employment position for the first time in 16 months and 11 days. This means an adjustment to our programming, and we're doing this for you, the viewers, in mind. Grid Tonight will stay on the air, but it will be shorter programs, more frequent. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of Kobe and myself on YouTube. The Women Racing to Win will shift to Friday. Our weekend coverage will remain the same. So definitely Grid Live pre-race, Grid Live wrap-up will not change. However, be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and of course, YouTube. There we provide our short programs, especially news updates, and of course, later tonight on TikTok, we'll be posting our Pick a Winner. Last weekend, Kobe tied, so we got a three-way tie for the lead. Definitely encourage everyone to participate in Pick a Winner. And we're doing this because we want to continue sharing the love of racing, and we're not stopping. So definitely want to thank everyone for, as we approach 1 year, for your support and helping us grow. And of course, one of those people that has helped us grow, Colin, our Patreon subscriber, link below to subscribe to our Patreon page. Definitely, it'll help us keep on the air throughout 2021. And a special thank you to our new subscribers on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok as well. Especially invite everyone to follow the Grid World Motorsport League at grid_WML on Twitter. And Monday, Grid World Motorsport League will release their newest standard. And of course, our partners at Publis, 10% discount for Grid Network viewers. Link in the video description. Everything from dog leashes, clothing, and accessories for dogs of all sizes. 10% discount just for being a Grid Network viewer. Tomorrow, the Women Racing to Win. Myself and Dan will be hosting that program. Then Saturday, Grid Live pre-race. Kobe, myself, and everyone else will be on the air as we discuss Formula E and the NASCAR Cup Series. And then Sunday, myself, Kobe, and Ben, Grid Live wrap-up. Kobe Lambert at the podium finish. I'm Joe San Diego. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Joe Samriego here. Want to invite you to go check out Publis. Publis is a dog clothing and accessory company based in Austria. 10% of each of your purchases goes to helping dogs in need, whether it's homeless, sick, or ill dogs. This is one of the reasons why we support it. Kiska here is a rescue dog from rural Alaska and our Grid office dog. We care about our furry buddies, and we know you do as well. Definitely check out Publis.com. There's a link on the video description, and by clicking on that link, you get a 10% discount on your purchase as well.